yesterday was No King's Day. Now, I knew this because of my son's job working on a political campaign. And so I went to the No King's Day event in Kokomo to support him. And it was probably about 300 people in Kokomo. Nothing like the several thousand that were in Indianapolis, but and I saw people from as young as 7 to World War II vets. I saw a World War II vet that said, "We're the greatest generation because we kicked Nazi butt." And what I saw was America. There were literally hundreds of American flags being carried by the people who were exercising their First Amendment right to let other people know about things our government was doing that they're not happy with. And isn't that what America is about? We don't have a king. So I'm reading today from the time when Israel asked for a king. 1 Samuel chapter 8, beginning with the 4th verse. So all the elders of Israel gathered together and came to Samuel at Ramah. They said to him, "You are old, and your sons do not walk in your ways. Now appoint a king to lead us, such as all the other nations have." But when they said, "Give us a king to lead us," this displeased Samuel. So he prayed to the Lord, and the Lord told him, "Listen to all that the people are saying to you. It is not you they have rejected, but they have rejected me as their king, as they have done from the day I brought them up out of Egypt until this day, forsaking me and serving other gods, so they are doing to you. Now listen to them, but warn them solemnly, and let them know what the king who will reign over them will do." Samuel told all the words of the Lord to the people who were asking him for a king. He said, "This is what the king who will reign over you will do. He will take your sons and make them serve with his chariots and horses, and they will run in front of his chariots. Some he will assign to be commanders of thousands and commanders of 50s, others to plow his ground and reap his harvest, and still others to make weapons of war and equipment for his chariots. He will take your daughters to be perfumers and cooks and bakers. He will take the best of your fields and vineyards and olive groves and give them to his attendants. He will take 1/10 of your grain and of your vintage and give it to his officials and attendants. Your men servants and maidservants and the best of your cattle and donkeys he will take for his own use. He will take 1/10 of your flocks, and you yourselves will become his slaves. When that day comes, you will cry out for the relief from the king you have chosen, and the Lord will not answer you in that day." But the people refused to listen to Samuel. "No," they said, "we want a king over us. Then we will be like all the other nations, with the king to lead us and go out before us and fight our battles." People are dumb, aren't they? You tell them every reason why they don't want something, and they still want it. Or should I say, we are told every reason why we shouldn't want something, and we still want it. Israel decides, hey, Samuel's old. Now, Samuel's been leading Israel for a long time, and he's been doing a pretty good job. But he's starting to get old, and his sons are starting to take over, and his sons are corrupt. So, they got a valid complaint to Samuel. Hey, your kids, they're not like you. We don't want them leading us. That's a valid complaint. But they say, so we want to be like everybody else. We want to have a king. Now, of course, Samuel's upset about that. Samuel thought he'd been doing a pretty good job leading the people. No, we want somebody else, you know. Yeah, you're getting old. What have you done for us lately, Samuel? It's time you get put out to pasture. Give us a king. Samuel goes crying to God. Lord, the people have rejected you. And Samuel goes, yeah, they rejected me first. That's what happens. They want a king to lead them and protect them. They want somebody strong. Now, if God's going, I've led them, I've protected them, I'm stronger than any king, but they want a king they can see. Now, this is how it starts. Every democracy that has ever failed starts this way. We want somebody strong to lead us. It's how Mussolini took power in Italy, and it's how Franco took power in Spain, and it's how Hitler took power in Germany. He promised the people that he would be the one to protect them from all the dangers of the world. And if you didn't know how dangerous the world was, they would tell you all of the dangers that you needed to be protected from, just so you knew why you needed to listen to them. It's a lack of faith. For Israel, it was a lack of faith in God's ability to lead them. They don't see God. They want someplace they could focus. And God says, okay, Samuel, let them know what's going to happen if they have a king. If they want to be like all of the other nations, they're going to be like all of the other nations. And the king is going to tax them. And the king is going to conscript them and make them his soldiers or his laborers. And the king is going to take their stuff until eventually they're nothing more than slaves. Now you would think, some of them might decide to think, hey, maybe this king, not such a good idea. Like the colonists did in 1776. We began to think, maybe having a king is not such a great idea. Maybe we could do it better ourselves. That's what we did. These were people who just had God and his prophets and said, maybe we should get a king. Our neighbors all have kings. Maybe we should have one too. So Samuel says, God tells Samuel, first thing you do is you warn them. But then reject your warning, I'm going to have you give them a king. How often do we want things that are not the best for us? And we get so fixated on wanting those things, we don't listen to anybody who tells us, hey, that's not a good idea. Now, I've been told that the reason that women live longer than men is that women will tell their friends that's not a good idea more than men will. You know, the guy thinks, I wonder if I could jump over that canyon in my motorcycle. Woman thinks that, and then we go, are you an idiot? The men, when the first guy tries and fails, they go, well, he couldn't do it, but I bet I can. We don't listen. We get so fixated on what we want, especially when we're afraid and we want someone who makes us feel safe. And that's how every king starts. But also, more important, is how God treats us. When my children were growing up, one of the first things we got in a baby shower were the plastic plugs you stick in the electrical sockets so that your children don't stick anything into them. You know, protect your children from the electrical sockets. And we dutifully put them around everywhere. We even put them on the sockets that there was no way they could actually reach them, but we just did it. They didn't have those when I was growing up. Now, my parents told me not to put anything inside an electrical socket. They also let me put things in electrical sockets. I only did it once. That was enough for me to realize it was not a good idea. God took the Israelites and listened to them and said, okay, if you're going to insist on this, I'm going to give it to you. Now, Israel had several kings in the course of their history. Most of them were not good kings. And even the best kings still did all of the things that Samuel warned the people about. They still taxed the people. They still took part of their produce, part of their livestock, and the best lands for themselves, and they still made people fight in their armies and build palaces and temples and all sorts of projects for the kingdom. Everything God had warned them through Samuel was going to happen, happened. Did they learn? I don't know. God does the same thing with us. He warns us. He tells us what is right. And then he lets us do whatever we want. And we face the consequences. And hopefully we learn. But the good news in In spite of all of our failure to follow the rules, in spite of all of our failures to listen to the warning, God sent Jesus. And our ultimate consequences for not listening, separation from God, that's been taken off the table. In spite of how we refuse to listen, in spite of the mistakes we make with our eyes wide open, we are forgiven and we are loved. Our closing hymn is I Surrender All, 5